everyone. Hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give my financial opinions as we go through it. And if you guys need any help, check out finding-value.com. We do have a special discount still going on. I think it ends tomorrow, which is 8/15. The discount code is August. Let's dive in and see what's going on with the markets. So we've got the dollar here, and it continues to work its way on up. So we cut through the resistance level, bounced off at the support level a few times, and headed on up. We do see yields going on higher here in the short term. I'll show you those, but that's what it looks like for the dollar. Now, we do have some strong selling pressure here. We have come up more slowly, and I'm curious to see which way this resolves, if we head lower or if we continue higher. Yields do look like they want to continue higher, so I'm inclined to think that the dollar could continue on up if those yields continue higher. Now, I'm not betting on anything with the dollar directly, but what we saw last bull market is we saw a decline in the dollar at some point. So we came up, think of it as the interest rates kind of coming on up. We rolled on over in the dollar, and we've come all the way back down last bull market in commodities. There's the end of the commodity bull market and the start. So that's what we've got. We had the start of our bull market in March of 2020. It came down, worked its way higher, and we've been kind of drifting lower over time. Looking at the 2-year yield, it does look like it's wanting to break to the upside, which we just did today, and we could run to the upside for a little bit, breaking that resistance level. The 10-year yield also slightly higher. It is getting a little bit of momentum shift where it could roll over on the 10-year. And the TYX 30-year yields just kind of sitting there. Curious to see how these are going to resolve. Now, if you look at this, it makes me think, if you kind of look, you get that pattern like the Batman pattern. Are we going to head back lower at some point? I don't know. Let's wait and see. These aren't directly related to some of the investments that we've got. The general rule of thumb is when yields go up, it is a headwind for stocks. Now, we're trying to figure out what direction yields are going to go, and we're using basically technical analysis to figure out which direction it wants to go and pattern recognition. But sometimes that doesn't work with 100% certainty. Definitely not 100% certainty. It's more like 60, 70%. And then you've got a Federal Reserve that controls rates. So if they say they're going to go higher, we can take them at face value. If we took it at face value in 2020, we shouldn't even have raised rates by now. They said they weren't going to thinking about raising rates till like 2024. Sure. TYX TNX ratio, we're slightly lower today. We're just moving sideways, for the most part, down here at a very low level. So there's our sideways action there, almost kind of in a pattern. And we're at a very low level. And generally speaking, if you're at a very low level and you start to come up, that's when gold does very well, is when the curve uninverts. We're at a low level. Will the curve uninvert, or are we going to stay at a low level for a while? We don't know that. Bond prices falling a little bit today with those yields going up. And I mean, honestly, this looks kind of crappy. This is a topping pattern, a big old topping pattern, end of trend type topping pattern there. Then we've broken the uptrend line, and we've been heading lower ever since. The people who said that we are going to have a gigantic crash, they all cozied up with a bunch of bonds, and it hasn't worked out that well for them yet. Gold, slightly lower. We had strengthening dollar, strengthening yields. Gold doesn't like that. So it held up quite well. We're down $5 an ounce, and we're at that support level. We'll see if that support level holds here. Silver also slightly lower, but it did bounce throughout the day. So here's the daily. You can see we went down and it bounced back up. So it's actually showing quite a bit of strength in the short term, throwing in that big wick at the bottom. That's what we were looking at. That's what the wick indicates, is a selling pressure move, and then it was bought back up throughout the day. Platinum also hanging in there, down about $4 or $5 an ounce. We'll probably see a trend line break here, maybe, which looks like we've got one, and maybe we can start to head higher here. Fingers crossed. XAU to gold ratio down a little bit today, so gold outperforming gold and silver mining companies. To me, still looks like we're trying to put in a bottom. Those are all bullish engulfing patterns here, guys. They're all over the place. What does that mean? It means that the market tried to push this lower, but it was bought up and reversed on higher throughout those days. So we have strong support in this general location where we're at, and we'll see if we can get some traction here to move to the upside. And I'm sure we would like to see the physical metals participate in the move higher, signaling that we've got kind of that alignment that we're hoping for. CRB index, slightly lower. I know oil was down a little bit. It looks okay. We've broken the pattern to the upside there. Maybe we get a return move somewhere, and then we'll move on up from there. We'll see. CRB to S&P 500 down a little bit today. Usually you get a breakout, and then you get a return move of some sort, wherever it wants to go, and then we'll work our way on higher. That's my guess. And there's a big picture view of what it looks like. So GDX down today, but it was purchased and bought back up. Here's the daily candlestick. We sold off very hard in the morning, and then we came back throughout the day. So that's what the wick is on the bottom there. The wick is that buying back pressure coming up. So we're at support. We've got support underneath us. I'm sure that occurred across the board. Support underneath us. That's where all the wicks are. SILJ doing the same thing. We got wicks. We have a nice little bullish engulfing pattern there. Everything still looks good, like it could continue higher, or I should say turn higher. So downtrend to a turn on up. That's what I'm expecting based off of the pattern. We have a breakout. We have a return move. We've got kind of maybe a squeeze. Here, let me get some legit lines in here so it's not crazy. We came into a point, went into a bullish engulfing. That generally works its way higher. And that's in all of the mining company stocks. Crude oil down a little bit, but it's still hanging in there. Nice little wick at the bottom. And I still think the momentum's to the upside. Nat gas up 1% above support. So I do think we'll go sideways to higher, is my guess. So sideways to up. We've got XOP. You know me, right up underneath a little bit of resistance here. And there's your resistance. It's the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders. And we're right underneath it. Everything still looks fine. OIH down a little bit. That one's on top of support. Looks fantastic from a little bit longer viewpoint. I like how we're getting large green candlesticks, small red candlesticks. That looks very good for a potential move to the upside. For energy services, OIH. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust bouncing off this resistance level a little bit today, heading down a little bit. We might loop back around again, so just be patient, guys. We're up against that resistance. Maybe it's not ready yet. Maybe it's not ready, but we're getting close. URA right up on top of support. The support level is this support level going across there, and it's a small down candlestick. Reversed hard throughout the day, sold off in the morning, came back throughout the day, so everything's looking all right. Nothing to worry about. Let's just let it work its way through. URNM also, smaller down day, could be considered a bloody nose continuation pattern. We'll see if it continues higher. Everything's broken out. Support underneath us. URNJ, same thing, little bloody nose. Tried selling off. Buyers came back in, said, no, 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 we're buying this back up. Buyers came in and bought that back up. So looks good. TAN also putting in a little reversal candlestick down here. Looks like we could continue higher, or I should say reverse higher, I should say, not continue, reverse higher. There's your sharp reversal. So it sold off in the morning, boom, bought right back up. Momentum's coming back to the upside. That is what the wick of this candlestick signifies. It was sold off in the morning, and the momentum's coming back up. So we'll see if that's a reversal candlestick. COPX down a little bit, still in this channel here. Lithium down a little bit. We're right kind of in that support region. We'll see if the support line holds or if we have further downside. That is a reversal candlestick. Momentum is coming back to the upside in the short term. REMX, same thing as lithium. This thing has been just dragging sideways here. So it's been dragging. S&P 500 getting a little bit more buying pressure. Actually looks quite good today. Not too bad. NASDAQ putting in a bullish engulfing. That's looking pretty good. We could continue higher. This is good because if we get an everything type rally, which I think could happen for a little bit, maybe that could happen here over the next week or two. Emerging markets down a little bit. We had that strengthening of yields, strengthening of the dollar, and we're back to the support level. So not a bad time to be looking at it. XHB kicking the trend of yields and stronger dollar, ending up a little bit today, showing some strength. Move down a little bit, breaking out of that support trend line, and we'll see if we have further downside. It might do one of these guys where it rolls over for a little bit. Copper flat today. It's right by the support level. We do have a lot of support underneath us. So you take a big picture view, a lot of futures contracts are right here. That's a lot of support underneath us. So I think we'll sit probably somewhere in this general region if it does go down a little bit. A lot of support. Iron ore moving sideways. Again, I think this is going to move to the upside eventually. We've got nickel down. And this has been looking a little bit weaker in the short term here, guys. So we could see this head lower for nickel. This is a bearish engulfing here and here. Aluminum down. It looks like we could head a little bit lower in aluminum. Kind of a weak day today with momentum heading to the downside. So that does look a little bit on the weak side for aluminum. Baltic Dry Index, it's hanging in there, down 0.7%. Again, I think we're going to work our way higher eventually. So sideways to higher is my guess. And the reason I say that is fallen wedge. We've got the three pumps. We did a false breakout. It should have broken to the downside here, and it didn't. So that's what makes me think that we've got some strength here and that we could potentially go higher, is that false breakout and the failed attempt to move lower, and we got bought right back up. We've got coal futures. Coal futures looking good. It is trying to put in a base here, I think. And it's looking all right. Bitcoin also just trading sideways for the most part. Still looks good. It does not look bad. Same with Ethereum. I'm basing that off of this kind of big buying pressure and the small little pullback in it that generally works its way on up if the buyers want to push it. So that's what we've got for today, guys. That's what the markets look like to me. A little bit of selling pressure across the board in some of the sectors. And yeah, I'm just waiting for the uranium takeoff, waiting for the oil takeoff. Everything still looks good. We're sitting on top of patterns. Sometimes the markets want to go sideways or sell off a little bit, giving us a little bit more time to accumulate, which is usually a good thing if you're a long-term investor. Thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys later. This is Finding Value.